I look like the person that will die first in like an 80s horror movie. Alright, we're covering 3 sections of time today, time periods. I'm stupid. Let's get going. So the first is the festival aftermath from October 16th to November 6th. October 16th. Schlatt, Fundy, Ponk, and Quackity, the Manbergians, all discuss the future of Manberg. Quackity makes Tubbo's traitor grave, because everyone's just decided Tubbo's like down for the count now, I guess. And Fundy ends up showing Schlatt the second White House that he made. Quackity and Schlatt disagree over like the whole White House situation, and there's talks of possibly a betrayal happening. And then Fundy travels to Pogtopia, and he questions who he's going to end up siding with, because his father's on one side, but doesn't agree with a lot of stuff that's happening there. He tries to contact Tubbo, and he writes in his diary about the whole festival situation. He ends up going back to Manberg, which he then gets in contact with Tubbo there. Bad and Sam say that they won't side with Pogtopia or Manberg, and the Badlands is created. They want to promote freedom and prosperity. This isn't going to end well, guys. They plan to recruit others like Skeppy, George, Sapnap, Puns, and Errett, and they thought about claiming the land around Pogtopia and Manberg, so basically everything else. And then H-Bomb gets caught up in all this, but he remains neutral. I could not tell you that man's lore if you, gave me $1 million. That's just simply not happening. October 17th. Tommy travels to Manberg and tries to kill Quackity and Schlatt. Schlatt tells Quackity to destroy the White House because we can't have a nice thing in this situation. He starts to do it, and then he resigns as vice president and ends up killing Schlatt. Tommy confronts Quackity and tells him that he was watching Quackity kill Schlatt and all their arguments. So this ends with Quackity joining Pogtopia. The two travel around the little hole in the wall, and then Wilbur sees him as they're heading back to Manberg. Starts heading after him. 3 of them, they vandalize the Manberg flag. Wilbur brings the two into the detonation room and shows them to the lyrics to the Manberg national anthem that's written on the walls. The writing on the walls, guys. Quackity and Tommy stop Wilbur from pressing the detonation button, thinking that he's going to set off the explosions, and instead, he ends up breaking the button. Good of him not to blow anything up, right? Wilbur stays in the room after Quackity and Tommy leave, and then he puts the button back. Wonder what that's gonna do. They all go back to Pogtopia and plan to take down Manberg. There are 3 plans. Meet Schlatt, Death Trap, Wilbur set off explosives. Place your bets on which one's gonna happen. Alright, October 18th to the 19th. Techno gets gold and blaze rods, and Ponk creates the Manberg Hotel. Bad makes his newly expanded Dreamin' Hunter base, and Fundy pretends that it'll actually get used. Fundy and Ponk end up talking together, and they see that Schlatt's health is declining, and that Quackity has magically disappeared. And George is also speculated of being a witch and cursing Schlatt. Love that for him. Fundy tells Tubbo about all the theories, and they plan their next Dreamin' Hunter job. And then Tommy and Tubbo create an underground bathhouse. And Tommy's important items are gone, and he tries to sell Tubbo bathwater. It didn't work towards Bad, but you know who ends up buying it? Sam. October 20th to the 23rd. Tubbo and Sam make their ocean monument project, and this is to be filled with sand and used to be the new XP farm. It's called Casa de Hol. I've been in Spanish for 4 years, and the way I said that, sorry, profe. Eric tells Nikki that he plans to blow up the second White House, and he also dreams a crossbow. He also finds one of the strongholds. Ponk also starts experimenting on cats. Sorry, excuse me? Tommy also reclaims his embassy, and while Eric is making their cat cafe, Ponk harasses them and is killed several times in doing this. He unleashes his inner demon and says that he sold his soul for science. Eric kills him again. October 24th to the 26th. Carl becomes Sam's 3rd roommate, and Ponk builds Thicatron and his experiment takes place. There's a small conflict between Ponk, Sam, H-Bomb, and Sam thinks that his dog is killed. But then it's found that she's actually not, so chill. And Ponk frames H-Bomb for starting the whole thing and starts destroying his base. Everyone makes up, it's fine. H-Bomb's still annoyed, but don't worry, it'll be alright. Thicatron ends up being blown up. Also, H-Bomb gets 2 more copies of Pigstep, collecting discs like Tommy wishes he could. October 23rd to the 31st. Tommy makes a fighting pit in the Holy Land, which is quite ironic, seeing as you're not supposed to be able to get hurt in the Holy Lands. And Ponk ends up finding Pogtopia and the Only 4 Pokebook. But one of those feels a lot more important than the other, I'm sorry. He steals stacks of potatoes and tries to get a mending book, and Tommy gives Techno some spare phantom membranes, which, remember, very high worth now. November 1st to the 2nd, this one's short. Skeppy, Bad, Puns, Wilbur, Callahan, Sam, and Quackity celebrate Nikki's birthday, and Nikki now has a golem named Nikki Jr. See, guys, nice things can happen on this server too. Wilbur decides to detonate the TNT under Manberg, and Quackity convinces Wilbur not to do it, and he says that he'll meet with Schlatt. Wilbur says that if the meeting doesn't happen by Friday, he'll end up blowing up the nation. So Schlatt, talk with him, please. November 3rd to the 4th. Tommy lets Ponk have access to Pogtopia to sell essential oils in exchange for emerald blocks. Ponk is part of MLM, it seems. He gets a horse and he names it Jorce. People are really good at naming pets on this server. And Ponk takes down the bottom half of his 5th lemming tree, for some reason. And Fundy gets on a whole prank frenzy. November 5th. Nikki learns that Nikki Jr. died. And Carl and Nikki work on a Christmas town with Era's help. Sapnap kidnaps Jorce until Tommy returns Mars and Sapnap's netherite sword. And this starts the second pet war. Alright. Punz's panda is found and brought back to the greater Dream SMP. And he asks Sapnap for help, getting it. And it's called Dump Truck. I can't believe I just said that. Punz asks Sam to make some weapons of mass destruction. Don't worry about it. It's never made. The panda is left at Punz's base. Ant ends up kidnapping the panda. The trio, Sam, Sap, and Punz, see that the panda's gone and that they have to, find it now. And Bad saw Ant take it, but he ends up lying for Ant. What happened to Good Guy Bad? What happened to Good Guy Bad? Punz accidentally kills the panda, and Sapnap enacts revenge against Ant and Bad. Understandable. Sapnap threatens to kill one of Ant's polar bears, and he ends up shooting it. The Badlands are gearing for war, and Punz and Sap are getting ready for it. Wasn't it supposed to be about prosperity, guys? Ant and Sam go after Punz and Sapnap. Sap is killed by Bad and Ant, and Sapnap threatens to kill Fran. Don't hurt Fran. There are some negotiations going on. It's all hasty. It's all a bit difficult. But no more animals are killed, so maybe it's the way to go. The friendship between Punz and Sapnap grows, and Ant gives Punz a new panda. While this is occurring, Tommy and Tubbo make Queen Rajules/Jays. This is to ban fireworks. They try to get Funny to join and to ban fireworks in Pogtopia. They get neither of these two things, and then they find Techno, who says that fireworks are good and bad. Let's be honest, Techno would never give that up. Quackity tells Tommy about Wilbur's plan to blow up Manberg on the 6th, if the meeting to kill Schlatt doesn't end up happening. November 6th. Techno makes a villager farm, and Sam breaks his public nether portal. Quackity plans for Schlatt to sign a contract that'll make Quackity the leader, because Schlatt's a little incompetent right now. He writes the official Manberg hotel permit because he doesn't trust Ponk or Fundy. And Fundy and Tubbo make a lot of traps, so I guess it's pretty obvious why Quackity wouldn't trust him. Tommy sees that Jorce is missing, and he gets mad about it. That anger directed towards Sapnap. Quackity meets with Schlatt and tries to get trust from both Tommy and Wilbur. And Schlatt tells him that he knows about the TNT under Manberg. He's not stupid. And he attacks Tommy, and Quackity is killed. And he attacks Tommy and Quackity, and he ends up getting killed. The redstone under Manberg is disconnected, so there's no possible way that it could be blown up, right? Fundy shows Wilbur his spy diary, showing that to dear old dad, I see. And he learns about Schlatt's poor health. Bad also says that the Badlands supports Pogtopia. Schlatt no longer wants to have these stupid allies, and Wilbur says that blowing up Manberg will affect Schlatt, although the group doesn't really agree with it. But it's alright. Dream says that he'll give Schlatt something, and says that in order to obtain it, he has to defend Manberg. He doesn't care about the outcome, he only wants destruction. It could be an entire dumpster fire, and Dream's like, alright, that's great. The date for the war is set in 10 days. Wilbur will blow up Manberg if it's not reclaimed. Rest in peace, boys! Alright, now we got a war. Manberg vs. Pogtopia. November 6th to November 16th. November 6th, the Pogtopians leave. Ponk is given the title of doctor for the nation. You need a doctor. And Tommy, Tubbo, Dream, Ponk, and Sam meet at the Manberg embassy. Dream says that he was never on Pogtopia's side. Doesn't really care. And Dream collects the fake Melahai and Cactus. At this point, it is not known really who has the real ones. It could be Dream, it could be Skeppy. Honestly, no clue. Wilbur, Fundy, and Quackity stay in Pogtopia and discuss their plans. They try to see who the traitor to Pogtopia is because there's a traitor, and they think it might be Tommy. Now, Tommy never did a single thing wrong, so if you all start getting on his case, the Pogtopian allies are Fundy, Sam, Bad, and Ponk. The plan is to defeat Schlatt on the 16th. Dream is there, because he can be. And Wilbur partially sides with Dream's whole idea of chaos, because let's be honest, Wilbur's mental health is steadily declining. George ends up joining. Where have you been? And Quackity is angry at him for letting Schlatt become president. You know what? Fair enough. Wilbur finds a natural tree in Manberg that has never been hurt by anything, and he names it Leman Tree. Everyone agrees not to touch it, because one thing has to be holy. Sam gives Tommy's potions, and Tubbo is accidentally killed during a small skirmish with George. Sorry, dude. Operation Pogback begins. Don't ask why they named it that. And the plan is to make a railway from Manberg to Pogtopia. We all like our railroads on this server. Quackity tells Tommy that he thinks Tommy's a traitor. But Tommy says, nah, I would never betray Tubbo or Wilbur. Tommy also realizes that he has to go against Sapnap. And Sam gives Tommy a creeper head that can be used to summon him. Because creeper. November 7th. Sam links his secret nether portal to his decoy base. And Tommy tells Sam about his TNT jump tactic on the railway. Sam gives them explosives because you always give children weapons. They learn that some ancient debris has been stolen from Queen Rajules. Funny plans to make an army of foxes to defend Pogtopia. Once again, don't look too much into that and why he has pet foxes when he's also a fox. You won't like it. Nikki ends up helping Tommy with his railway, and Eric regains trust of Pogtopia. Why? Nobody knows. Sapnap works on his own secret base because we can't have enough of those. It's behind Church Prime, by the way. Carl and Sapnap plan to make a new country called Rutabagoville. It's for peace and money making. And let's be honest, when one thing has been built for peace, it's never kept up to that. Christmas Town is now the official home, and he tries to invite Sam, Ant, and Bad, not knowing that they already have the Badlands. And he wants to invade Eric and Nikki. Sam may or may not get dual citizenship of Badlands and Rutabagoville. He's all over. Bad says that he'll only side with Pogtopia if it aids him. And their goal is to maintain the main conflict so that they can end up controlling everything in the entire world, let's be honest. The fact that Bad starts so nice and then gets so dark, he's good in real life, guys, I promise. Punk may be loyal to Schlatt, who knows? He ends up stealing TNT from Eric, and then he says he's not a traitor to Pogtopia. He explains that he helped Quackity escape, so there's no way he could possibly be the traitor. But he tries to kill Eric, and he ends up failing. November 8th. Carl tries to recruit more people to his nation, and he asks Quackity and Techno if they want to join. Wilbur and Quackity go on a date to Hut's Pizza, though throw that whole thing away and just forget about it, because I wish I could. Dream is supplying Wilbur with gunpowder. Dream also gives Schlatt an enchanted bow, a netherite sword, and netherite armor. And he also gives Schlatt a field with the Manberg flag. And Quackity ends up dying because of Schlatt. And Carl's getting killed too, so. Carl joins Dream and Schlatt while also remaining loyal to Quackity. How? I don't know. Sapnap joins. Fantastic. And Rutabagoville becomes a state of Manberg. So not its own nation, but one step above a group of rascals. Carl says that he will not tell Nikki a word of this. Sapnap and Quackity arrest Carl for being a serial cheater. Fiancé lovers, I'm sorry. Jack arrives. Where has he been? November 10th. Dream and Tommy work together in the Hall of Fame in a motivational quote house. Dream gives Wilbur more gunpowder. Dream ends up manipulating George and Sam to put Manberg flags on their shields. So they're now with Manberg. Sam doesn't want to join them though, so get rid of the flag. Much of the server is out mining and gaining supplies for the war, try and get ready. George is killed for stealing fireworks from Queen Rajules, and George and Puns fight. Puns ends up getting pushed off the vape tower, and he ends up ending the fight after getting to Lemon City. November 11th. Quackity and Carl plan on creating the slums in a currently unoccupied area of land, because even this server somehow has classism. November 12th. Tubbo goes to Atlantis and tries to make a sand duplicating machine. Sam ends up checking it out, Better help the kid. And Tommy and Tubbo make the Cube, another holiday house. Carl also makes a dating house. Quackity goes on 2 whole dates there. November 13th to 14th. Puns moves in with Sapnap. Are we surprised? No. Purple finds out about Quackity and Carl's new land and doesn't approve of it, since it's close to his own base, and he doesn't want anyone messing with him. November 15th. Tubbo tells Sapnap his plans for Atlantis. Tommy tries to figure out who his alliances are because everything's getting a little muddled at the moment. Tommy and Techno question Bad, who says that he's not on Dream's side. Tommy wants George back, and Sapnap wants Mars back. This leads to the final pet war. I can finally stop talking about these stupid animals. No offense, I'm sorry. Tommy and Sapnap meet up at Manberg. Sapnap offers his hand for the coming war as long as it's a fair trade. Tommy doesn't trust him though because the whole Dis Saga thing and getting backstabbed a bunch. So Techno kills Sapnap because he strives for violence. He leaves later. Sapnap hands over George and asks for Mars. Tommy doesn't hand over the fish though. So Sapnap kills Tommy's horse. Tommy runs away. Dream and George join and tell Tommy that they want to kill Sapnap. Jack also joins. He's only there for comedic purposes, like getting killed by Dream. Quackity witnesses this whole event, and Sapnap jumps off a tower and unalives himself. He is then led with the others by Dream and George to Sap's secret base. And Tommy doesn't kill any of the pets, even though Sap tells him to. Honestly, at this point, I think he has a right to. Alright, it's duel time again. Sapnap and Tommy. If Tommy wins, he gets all of Sapnap's armor. If Sapnap wins, he gets Mars. This doesn't seem as fair. Tommy loses, but he also says he'll never duel again. And Mars is released into the ocean. I feel like there was another fish that got released into the ocean after being someone's pet for a suspiciously long amount of time. Jack Manifold makes Manifold Land. This has his and Quackity's houses in Manberg. Sam and Tubbo are making potions when Dream comes and manipulates Tubbo to add the Manberg banner to his shield. He learns the real meaning about this whole flag and throws his shield into lava because he's not going to backstab his friend again. Alright, the 16th. Hold on to your seats, campers. George acts oblivious that there's a whole war going on and builds a hobbit house instead with Callahan near Rudbigville. Doesn't have a true home, but this is his mushroom house. Alright, everyone's stance is on the whole war situation. Skeppy is the 4th member of the Badlands and makes them a whole flag. Tubbo's sad that Carl joined Manberg, but honestly, who can blame him? And says that he'll give Tubbo a Manberg flag. Remember what happened last time? Eret and Dream speak, and Dream says that Pogtopia and Manberg will destroy each other and that the Dream Dsmp can end up taking power of everything after. Count this the second nation that wants to take control of everything after. Quackity and Tubbo have a whole meeting situation and try to find out who the traitor is. They say that they can only trust each other. Nikki's making a refuge because she already knows people are going to get separated and messed up because of this conflict. She trusts Fundy though. Only one. Quackity, Tubbo, Fundy, and Nikki meet to see who the traitor is and they share some info. Techno says that Tommy, Wilbur, and himself are the enemy. Why would you say that about yourself? It's also important to know that Techno really just wants anarchy. That's all he strives for. Purple ends up joining Schlatt and Carl, and Punk supports Manberg. Dream learns that Eret betrayed him. She leaks some info to Nikki, and he ends up calling George, who thinks the meeting is a trap. Puns, Callahan, and George come to Eret's castle to talk to Dream. Eret's dethroned, and George is now king of the Dream Dsmp. Callahan is a squire. Something about King George. Wait a minute. Not again. Not again. Not again. Quackity is blaming George for never helping and for being the cause of a bunch of conflicts. Like, the never helping part, I get that. Man's not on the server. But the causing the conflicts, I don't know about that one. Tommy learns that Eret gave Dream his crossbow back. So now, that's not good. Wilbur and Tommy meet where Tubbo's real Malahide disc is. Wilbur says that he planted TNT and will detonate it if it seems like Pogtopia is losing. So, don't lose. Carl and Schlatt move near the second White House, and Wilbur and Tommy are hurried to Pogtopia, while under fire by Schlatt. That'll just clean up the sides a bit. We got Pogtopia, Tommy, Wilbur, Techno, Tubbo, Quackity, Fundy, and Nikki. Eret ends up joining in later. Manberg, Carl, Schlatt, Sapnap, Purple, and Puns. With this, you'd think, oh, it's kind of not even. Manberg also has Dream, and we all know what Dream's like on this server. Dream and Puns ambush Pogtopia and kill Quackity and Fundy. Pogtopia meets near the main Pogtopia base, and Techno shows him his supplies. The Badland members also show up. All allies move to Carl and Schlatt. They take the tower successfully. Carl's killed lots of times, and Dream places end crystals, which detonate the TNT. Manberg calls for a surrender. Schlatt's under the Kamar van, which Dream leads them all to, and Schlatt suffers a heart attack. He dies and becomes a ghost, First ghost on the server. Let's go. That couldn't possibly happen more than once. Pogtopia takes victory and Tommy's declared president. He gives the position to Wilbur. Why would you do that? Tommy wants his cat disc back. Fair enough. Wilbur refuses the position and passes the role on to Tubbo. Tubbo's now president with Tommy as his vice. The Manberg the core is taken down, and Dream assures them that Pogtopia never had a traitor. Everything was always perfectly fine. Wilbur goes to the control room and calls for Philza, his father. Now this is where we're gonna get a little spicy. Wilbur suffers a manic episode while Phil tries to stop him from pressing the freaking button. He really doesn't want Wilbur to press the freaking button. This fails. Techno kills Tubbo and he announces that he was never on Pogtopia's side and that he has his own ideology. He thinks killing Schlatt, who was elected democratically, was wrong and that Tommy and Wilbur are the real tyrants. So what does Techno do? Techno kills Tommy. Sleepy Boys Inc. is falling apart. Dream announces that there was a real traitor. Wilbur. Wilbur sets off the TNT. He asks Philza to kill him. It's a whole, wow dad, could you stab me? Type of deal. Yeah, Phil does it. Techno spawns 2 withers and taunts the remaining citizens with his allies, the Dream SMP and George. Dream and Techno blow up the Manberg and George ends up joining it. The Badlands actually take victory. Their plan actually worked. Dream tells Tommy that Skeppy is going to burn Cat, and he blows up the embassy for good measure. Tommy and Tubbo listen to blocks on the bench. Bench boys back? Connor joins. Weird timing. The Badlands come up with a plan to assassinate George, but Dream defends him. Techno and Dream fight against the Badlands, and of course, Dream ends up winning. Techno and Eric conspire to kill George. Why didn't Techno just let the Badlands do it? You know, a little messy. Techno is successful in his murder. Badlands also end up killing Callahan. Alright, that's all we have for today, folks. 2 weeks from now, I'll be covering the Reconstruction era because it's a bit long. Maybe not the whole thing, but a good portion of it. So, if you like the video, you want to hear this series continue because you're also not caught up on what's happening in the Dream SMP like I, hit like or comment. Subscribe maybe even. I don't know what you want to do with your life. But yeah, do all those things that real YouTubers are supposed to say, and goodbye.